In this video, I will demonstrate the process of nail enhancement with paper forms and UV gel. Using a metal pusher, I gently push the cuticles. The metal pusher needs to be carefully used without any pressure to avoid scratching the nail and causing damage. When dealing with a delicate and thin cuticle, try to use the orange stick for this. With a clipper, we will cut the nails short, leaving 1 to 2 millimeters of free edge. With a file, we shape the nails into round shape, exposing the points of growth as much as possible. This will help the paper form to set and align perfectly. The model has very thick and strong nails. For this reason, I am using a file with grid 180. If the model would have thinner or softer nails, then I would use a file with grid 220 and higher, similar to a manicure file. It is important to be able to identify the nail type you are working with in order to select the right tools suitable for your task. A high-grid new file used on thin and brittle nails can harm the nail and even cut the skin around the nails. With a brush, I gently remove the dust caused by filing. With the help of the electric drill, I will file off the nail any dry skin or pterygium. This way, I will lift more the cuticle, making possible the product application closer to the cuticle. I use the pear-shaped drill bit with a dull end. I usually do the left side of 5 nails in forward mode. Then I switch to reverse mode and file the right side of it. From the middle of the nail with the machine in forward mode, I start filing towards left. I place the bit between the cuticle and nail bed, slightly touching the nail bed. With the lateral side of the drill bit, I file the hard skin of the nail sides. I change the machine in reverse mode, and I start filing towards the right. I always start with the index finger, and I finish with the thumb. But you can choose your own way. I find that starting with the index finger gives you a clear picture of the process. From the middle of the nail, I file toward the corner in short strokes, and then from the corner, I file down to the nail sides in longer strokes. Do not overfile the cuticles or the skin around the nail. Be conscious that we are enhancing the nails and not performing a manicure. We need some cuticle and skin for protection against file cuts. Notice how I pulled the skin with my finger to have a better view and to have more access with the drill. I will need the help of the flame bit to clean deeper the nail sides. My model has very thick cuticles. I repeat the same technique. 5 nails in forward mode, then I switch to reverse mode and file the right side of it. With my thumb, I pull up the cuticle, and with my index finger, I pull down the skin to open the nail and clean as much as possible. Preparing correctly the nail bed before product application will make the process easier, faster, and will prolong the life of the artificial nails. I will not cut the cuticle completely. I will just remove the skin that is in my way. If you are dealing with thin, sensitive cuticle, cut it only at the end of treatment, if you will have any cuticle left. File off the surface of the nail with a sharp file. The ridges caused by the file allow the material to penetrate the nail bed, creating a good adhesion. It's important to file slowly in short strokes in forward direction. If you file back and forth when filing back, you will smooth the surface of the nail, and this will decrease the level of adhesion. Please be careful when filing not to cut the cuticle and the skin around the nail. This will cause bleeding and eventually compromise the whole treatment. File slow to avoid that. The nail must have a matte color after filing. Next step in preparing the nail is using the dehydrator. The dehydrator dissolves the oil of the natural nail surface and promotes adhesion. It evaporates quickly. 1 coat is enough. 2 coats might overdraw the nail. I apply the base gel in a thin layer on all 5 nails. Please be careful not to apply the base coat too close to the cuticle or the nail sides. This will cause the product to lift. It's mandatory to use base gel when working with UV gel. The base gel has a high level of adhesion and acts like a double Scotch tape. My favorite is Luxio Build. Apply 1 millimeter away from the cuticle and sides. To see, better hold the finger tight with your thumb and index finger, pulling a bit the skin down to open the nail sides. Cure for 60 seconds. We're moving on to the paper form application. You will notice that I removed my gloves, and I am recommending doing so while fitting the forms. The forms stick to the glove, and it's time-consuming to always remove them. Now I am doing a trial fit to see how well this form fits my nail. I feel an impediment, so what I will do is I will cut the form a bit deeper. You can cut it in an oval shape or in a V shape. I'm trying it again. Now I feel an impediment from the sides. I will cut the sides. Please check the slide that appeared on your screen. The red arrows point that the form should follow the shape of the natural nail, so try to visualize how much to cut and what shape. The black arrows point on the parts that I am going to cut now, and you will see in the video. By cutting these parts, we will reduce any space between the nail and the form, and you will obtain a perfectly curved nail. Also, make sure that the middle of the form matches the middle of the nail. See the red interrupted line for guidance. Fit the form under the nail in such a way that both points of growth fall on the form. Now, fit the form under the nail. Stick the corners together tightly. Firmly secure the back and the sides of the form. Underturn the finger and check if the form is straight. Adjust if needed. Make sure the form is not positioned too high or too low. Now I am comparing both two fingers to see the length needed to be enhanced. I take a moderate quantity of gel on my brush and I apply it on the tip of the future nail to define the shape and the length. I apply on the left side of the nail, gradually covering the nail sides and around 1/3 of the natural nail. Slowly, I am moving to the right side of the nail. Apply minimum quantity of gel at this point, as we are only creating the frame of the length and the shape. This way, you have a full vision of how well you covered the nail sides. If you apply a big quantity of gel, you might face that while you apply the gel on one side, the gel is running on the other side or it leaked into the cuticles. You will spend a lot of time fixing and reapplying. If you aim for a square shape, make sure the corners are well defined by the product. If at some point you notice that you need to add more product, please do so. Cure for 60 seconds. Now, we are fitting the form for the next finger. I recommend using curved cuticle scissors for side cutting. Please be aware, when you insert the scissors between the form and the finger, you can poke the finger, and if the scissors are very sharp, a serious cut is inevitable. I am gently removing the forms. We can see how the gel nails look at this stage. Well-defined shape and length. Using the same technique, we apply the forms and UV gel on the rest of the nails. The gel application is done using the tip of the brush, looking like I am dragging the gel. Rotate the fingers in any way that it's comfortable for you and the client so you can have a clear vision of the nail. Please pay high attention to have enough gel where the nail connects with the form. Gaps are strictly not allowed. That's where your nail will break first. This is the second step of the gel application. I apply more gel and start spreading it over the nail. I spread the gel, stepping away 2 to 3 millimeters from the cuticle. Apply enough product to not have thin or thick nails. Thin nails will break easily, and thick nails will take a long time to file. Now, we will give thickness and volume to the nail. Using a thin brush, I am making sure that there is enough gel on the nail sides. Do not overload the sides with gel, as the sides are very difficult to file when there is a lot of gel on. Following the same technique, we apply the gel on the rest of the nails. You can clearly see how I am dragging the gel with the tip of my brush from left to right and right to left. Please notice how little gel I have around the cuticle. Keeping it this way will reduce filing times in half. The thin brush comes very handy. Upturning the finger gives a great view of the nail, especially the sides. With a gel cleanser, I will remove the sticky coat. Next step is filing the nail body, shape, and length. I start by filing the sides. We want to have in the end square-shaped nails. Therefore, I hold the file straight, not to narrow the free edge. When filing, try to brush off the dust as often as possible so you can see how much is left to file. I am double-checking the sides. You must see a clear, straight side. Using a drill, I will file the product around the cuticle and nail sides. The machine is in forward mode, and I file from left to right, turning the finger in a position that's comfortable to file. With the thumb and index finger, pull the skin away from the nail so you can have a clear view of what you are filing. If you cannot operate the electric drill very well, I suggest filing from the middle to the left in forward mode, and then from the middle to the right in reverse mode. I am checking the nail to see if the C curve is even on both left and right side. Last step is buffing the nail surface. Using the same techniques, I move to the next finger. Gradually, I file the sides, a bit on one side, then I move to the other side. I use the drill to file around the cuticle. Please notice how I support my hand while filing with the drill. My right pinky supports on my left middle finger, while the elbow is on the desk. If your hands are not supported, they can easily slip, or you can file more than needed. Using the same technique, we file the rest of the nails. In case you can't clearly understand how I file the shape or how I am moving my hand, please see this slide where you have a graphic demonstration of how you file around the cuticle and the body of the nail. We know that each nail must have an apex, which is the center of gravity of the nail. Usually is located in the middle of the artificial nail, but depending on the length of the nail, it might shift in the needed direction to increase the strength of the nail. The thickness of the gel in the apex area is the thickest, as you can see on the demonstration. I recommend filing the nail gradually. File one side, check. File the other side, check. File a bit the body and check again to not get carried away, especially when you file the body of the nail. Always stop to check how much is being filed off from the free edge thickness. And I am moving to the next nail, and I file following the same technique. We do not incline the file while filing to not narrow the nail. The correct application on the form makes the nails narrow enough. I use the drill to file around the cuticle. Last step is buffing. Always use cleanser to wipe off the dust. UV gel can occasionally cause bubbles, and after filing, these bubbles become small gaps. I use a primer to cover these gaps. The primer will fill in the gap, change its white color to the color of the gel, and will create a strong adhesion with the product that you will apply next on the nail. Smooth transition from natural nail to the artificial. Defined shape. Apex is correctly placed and the nails look so natural. I am so pleased of how the nails look. Last step, I apply the top coat and I cure for 60 seconds. Thank you for watching!